amazing Women Speak podcast, inspiring and motivating every Black woman to own, honor, and execute her amazing, individually and collectively, as it was established at birth.
So I'm Crystal Gunn, founder of the Amazing Woman Network and host of Amazing Women Speak. And I thank you in advance for sharing this with your friends so they can join in on this conversation. I promise you, as always, this is going to bless somebody today. And we're back here again, highlighting some incredibly dope women who are Black history and women's history every single day and leaving their mark on the world and owning their seats at the table. No need to wait. Let's just jump right in. Michele, welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you for saying yes to the Amazing Women Speak and being your dope and dynamic self. Let's not wait. Let's get this conversation started.
Absolutely. Good evening. Welcome, Facebook, to another episode, another opportunity to hear from some amazing women, share their stories, to learn, to grow collectively, and to recognize this is our dedicated space once a week. If no other place, you can come here to be uplifted, encouraged, to laugh, to cry, to learn, to grow. A collective of amazing women sharing amazing stories where we do nothing but uplift to the next level. I am Michele Harper, super blessed as always to be the co-host alongside of my BFF, where again, we get to have some amazing conversations and unpack. So it is, as always, Facebook, the fastest hour of your day. We invite you to join in on this conversation. Please use the chat. We'd like to bring those voices into the room as well. This is your conversation as much as it is ours. So let's find out who we have in the room so that we can get this conversation going. Sean, please come in and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Raeshawn Bumphers. I go by Sean. I am the founder and CEO of pinkpoodledresslounge. It's a wedding shop and dress boutique located at 14405 East Jefferson and Chalmers.
Awesome. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
Deana, come in and introduce yourself.
First, I want to say thank you for having me. My name is Deana Neely, and I am founder and CEO of Detroit Voltage. We are Detroit's fastest growing 100% Black woman-owned electrical contracting firm. Mm-hmm. We are headquartered in Detroit. We also have a location in Houston, Texas, and we provide residential and commercial electrical installation, repair, remodeling, and renovation services. We also install electric vehicle charging stations, and we nationally distribute LED lighting. So we power Detroit.
Wow.
Right. Yes, yes, yes. So this is an ongoing conversation from Black History Month to Women's History Month. And so to be able to have a conversation with two women who are owning the entrepreneurial space is really just another way for us to uplift that there are no ceilings for Black women. There is nothing that we can't do. So let's learn a little bit about their journey. Again, Facebook, we invite you in, part of this conversation. So Deana, I'm going to start with you because you are in a male-dominated space. Tell us a little bit about your journey, how you walked away from what you walked away from and walked into where you are now.
Ooh, okay. I'll try to give you the shortest version that I possibly can. But what I realize is that it's been a purpose-driven journey from day one. I started working in local government when I was 18. I worked for the city of Detroit, and I worked in buildings and safety department. I worked there for over a decade. So I worked with city officials, I worked with inspectors, and all of these folks that were making decisions within the construction industry. And then I met this guy who was an electrician, and we met, fell in love quickly, had 2 babies. And then I became a stay-at-home mom. And so I did that for about 9 years while supporting him in his business. And one day I kind of noticed all of the new construction that was happening and all these opportunities. I started researching federal contracting, all of these things. And long story short, I pitched him on starting my own business and subcontracting those opportunities. And he thought it was a great idea. So I studied, I tested, became a licensed electrical contractor and started Detroit Voltage. And 3 months later, he left me, y'all.
Oh, that is not
Did not
funny.
see
So
that
that wasn't funny.
Did not see that coming.
I didn't either.
Me,
I did not.
which sent me on my purpose-driven journey, right? Because not only was I starting this business and hadn't been working in a very long time, and now I'm a single mom, right? And so there were all of these different things kind of moving and going at the same time. And now I'm in this male-dominated industry, and who's going to want to work with me? You know, so it was all of these things that were kind of going on. Long story short, I found a beautiful team of electricians. And then I just started to get out there and network. I got my first opportunity and they just never stopped coming. So within my first 6 months, we generated over 6 figures in revenue. And I'm going into my 7th year next month. And we'll be at $1 million in revenue this year. Glory to God. So a little bit about my
Yes.
and how I got there.
That's the ultimate middle finger. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Walk
Amazing.
away if you want to. My shine was purposed for me and I shall shine on. I absolutely love that. Excited to learn more about your story as we go. Sean, making us beautiful in the city of Detroit and surrounding areas. Tell us about the Pink Poodle.
So my journey started when I was in high school, approaching high school. As a co-op student, I've had amazing women at Chadsey High School that's no longer there, and McKenzie High School that took me under their wings. I started working for the Board of Education at the age of 16, which moved into Comerica Bank while I was still in high school. And after that, I went back as a teller, and then I ended up going into automotive, what took me to another amazing woman that worked at Ford for over 30 years. And she hired me to work in the office at Ford for the vice president of material planning and logistics, which happens to be a Black man. So they taught me a lot. I learned a lot to an extent with corporate America, working for executives, and the way they kept me under their wing, I had to share that love when I branched out. So I was asked to work for Detroit Public Schools, and I was there for 4 years in the procurement department when we were under the state of emergency manager. During that time is when I noticed, because we forget things that's happening in the urban communities because we move away, we live in different areas. And the things that I saw and experienced working there, handling contracts, I wasn't pleased. How we were treating our youth. And I ran into a young lady, Miss Renee, that owns Midnight Golf program. And the things I took on, when I say I took on some things, I basically kind of started with her. I had brought a lot of her students on board for internships. And I was always intimidated about starting a nonprofit or doing certain things for students. But the things that I saw that she was doing, it helped give me that push. And after I stopped working at DPS, I went back to automotive. I wasn't happy. So this was the time my son graduated from Carnegie Mellon University. And I was like, okay, I can make this about me now. I can do what I want to do. And I started planning Pink Poodle Dress Lounge. And it was important for me to be in an urban neighborhood. I had to have a business that was around women and young girls. And I'm telling you, it has taken off, and I didn't expect it to move as quickly as it has been. But I must say that I'm moving in my purpose right now.
How long have you been in business?
We are going on 5 years in August. 5 years in August. We expanded a couple times. I'm proud to say that we removed blight in the city of Detroit in the urban neighborhood, 3 locations within 3 years. And once I moved from, I met you there when we was at 9215 East Jefferson, Crystal. We were there for less than a year. It was a rough, tough year for me. I had all challenges that you can not imagine, and so many people going against me. It was like a horrible year. And I decided to close and reopen. We moved down here. 3 months later, COVID hit, but I made it happen during those times. We kept branding and selling. So I'm surviving it all, and we're growing.
I love that. So tell us, Deana, about the no's that you got along the way. How did you overcome that? Right. So we are about empowering women, and oftentimes we've been okay with settling, right? Or pivoting when we got the no because we didn't know how to take the next step. So how did you get through the no's? How many no's did you have along the way? And what kept you persevering?
So when I first started, my thought was to alleviate as many no's as I possibly could, right? So I thought about what a business needed to look like in my industry, well-structured business needed to look like. And so I did that. I was very intentional about checking every box, right? So from the foundational part of my business down to getting certifications, right? Because I knew what was important in construction and what would allow me to be seen, heard, and believed, essentially. And so I did all of that, and there was still a lot of no's. There was still a lot of no's. But at the end of the day, what I realized is that, you know, most of those no's were because that wasn't what I was called to do anyway. Mm-hmm. So I also asked a lot of questions. So when I got a no that I thought should have been a yes, you know, I would dig deep into why is it no, and then work on fixing the no, right? And so now I get very little no's. There aren't too many opportunities that I pursue that I do not get. So yeah, there were a lot of no's though. I can't, you know, pretend that there weren't, but in the beginning I was intentional about ensuring that I didn't have, you know, those deal breaker no's where I felt deflated or like I had not done my due diligence, because I did.
Right. So, I mean, part of the messaging is this is not an easy journey, whether you're in corporate, nonprofit, or out on your own, right? Like it's going to require, I love the word intentional, right? Like I love intentionality. It requires that of us. And as Black women, we've been socialized that we have to do more, go further, push harder, right? In order to be able to. So I really love, Sean, how you said it was important for me to give back, to bring somebody along as folks brought me along the way. We have to be more intentional about that. We have been labeled as I got mine, get yours, right? We have been labeled as catty. We've been labeled as I will do what I need to do for me and mine and pay attention to nothing else. So I really love that you're disrupting that narrative, that you're sharing, that you intentionally moved into a community that was reflective of the people that you wanted to serve, of the ways in which you grew up, and making sure that, again, you brought along somebody with you. I absolutely love that part of your story. So tell us again a little bit about some of the no's you got along the way, how you stayed intentional about making sure that you were bringing somebody despite all of the obstacles you might have been experiencing.
Yeah, well, you almost made me cry for a minute. I'm always on a podcast crying. So well, some of, let me try to think of some of the no's, because I really didn't experience a lot of the no's because I kind of created my own table, if that makes sense.
Oh,
and I'm not being arrogant or anything.
Don't apologize.
If people didn't want to move to the beat that we could work together and be beneficial together, then, you know, I move on. I don't consider it a no. It just doesn't work for you, and it may not work for me. It's one thing that I can piggyback with. I hope I don't say your name wrong again. Is it Deana? Deana. What Deana had mentioned It was one with, I would say, the Rooster Tail, for an example. I didn't get a no per se from the Rooster Tail when I was trying to work and collaborate with them, because they're right down the street. But I thought that they probably wanted to see my work and make sure that it wasn't just a hustle. And I had to understand that part. And just behold, one day they reached out to me and asked me to join them in this collaboration, this show, and we killed it. They found out that I leased this space out as a bridal suite, which they don't have a bridal suite. So they included us in their packages for bridal suite and a preferred vendor. So it's not so much the no's. We have a lot of challenges, but we just have to figure out a way to work around it so that we could get what we want or sit at the table.
So Facebook, there's lesson number 2. First one, be intentional. Second, think about reframing. I love that, right? So we are a faith-based, trusting group in this space, right? Like every week is going to come up where we recognize the power and the importance of our faith. And so being able to understand, like, these no's that I get are God delaying something for me. God has something better for me, continuing to trust the process. And like Deana said, doing the work, right? Like, I'm still going to do the work. I'm going to create as many opportunities to lessen the no's and have a strategy for when I get them. And then, as Sean is telling us, reframe that. Think about what you can learn from that experience and create the space that you need to be able to do what it is that you do. Oftentimes, ladies, we operate in fear, right? And so to be able to leave DPS, forward, and then take a complete shift, right? That's overcoming a fear that most of us get stuck and paralyzed in, because it's easy to stay in that comfort space. And then when people are telling you no, right? Okay, hold on to that no. I'm going to create my own table, right? Detroit voltage, right? Again, in a male dominated space, I'm going to create my own table. Pink Poodle, where we know predominantly white women own bridal salons.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Oh, we're going to talk about race, right? Like, I ain't clear. What resonated with you with that, Sean?
So I really didn't, I didn't do my due diligence to the fullest when I first started. When I first started Pink Poodle, but to me, it's still in divine order. When I first started Pink Poodle, I, completed my business plan and I did everything that I thought was right for the community and would make me happy and smile. I didn't focus on other bridal shops, the competition. There was a bridal shop that was near me. I didn't even know that she was there when I found out, it's those things. I focused on what was going on at Pink Poodle, the experience I wanted to provide. And I'm losing my train of thought. I'm sorry, what was your question?
No, that's okay, right?
So
Yeah, so talking about being in an industry where you decide, I'm going to create my own table. Right.
Yes.
And you made a significant change.
Yes, definitely. But as I got into the business, I've learned, I think it was my second year when I really had to do a deep dive into this industry, far as the wedding dresses. Listen, I call the wedding dress designers pimps, because they're the ones that's really getting the money. And on top of that, I'm struggling with big wedding dress shops, a lot that are predominantly white, Italian, or you can go on, that had this locked down for years. So one of the big challenges that I have is every season we're required to buy X amount of wedding dresses every year to keep these designers. And to learn that some of these other bridal shops that's big don't even purchase those dresses.
Wow.
And so that's why they have so many, and they already have money to back them up to handle marketing, et cetera. And, sometimes it breaks my heart to see us still running to them when they have no idea of the struggles that I go through. But I had a mother in here the other day for prom. And she's like, I'm glad you're here in the neighborhood, because she lives over here. And she was like, I know it's probably a struggle, being here. I made it very clear. It's not a struggle for me to be here. God's going to take care of me.
Mhm.
I'm here for a reason. And it's totally different from where the other shops are. Yes, I'm here. I have to make a living, but I'm also here for a purpose.
Mhm.
And following that purpose, he always takes care of me.
Awesome. So
Okay.
Facebook, we invite you, come into the conversation. Tell us how you are overcoming the fear to create the space wherever you are, whatever it is you're doing. You don't have to be an entrepreneur, but each one of us as Black women are always having to address, right, the barriers that are put in front of us. And we are unique in that way. There is nothing more challenging in this world than being a Black woman trying to make space for herself and her family. Nothing more challenging, nothing, right? And so Facebook, we invite you, tell us, let us learn from you. What are you doing? How are you practicing? What are the ways in which you are showing up to overcome fear, relying on faith to create your space at the table? Crystal.
How important has Black mentors, management executives been in your life, right, as role models in helping you get to where you are today? How important has that been, seeing people that look like you?
Man, that is so important. It definitely put a huge impact on my life in so many different ways that I'm able to give that back in different ways. So I've given it back to students and still giving it back to students. I'm giving it back to young girls in the community because of life experiences that I've had, and I've had Black women help me through that. Corporate America basically raised me, if I should say.
Mhm.
But also, I mean, we can go on and on with this, because even jumping into business, I'm a Motor City Match winner, won a $25,000 grant, round 10, when I started Pink Poodle. I had a Black woman coach me through that, because a Black woman coached her through that. And then I coached 2 other food and beverage Black women through that. So there's so many different aspects of my life that help me understand the importance of us helping each other. And, a lot of people, and when I say help and I say coach through, because I don't want everyone calling to say, hey, I can help them win this money, because there's a difference between coaching people that really want it, opposed to looking for someone to do the work for them.
Right.
That's one main challenge that we have. Sometimes we lack, it's hard to assist and help some if they're lacking in reading and following up on the information that we are providing. But you have to want it, and things can't be a hustle for you. This isn't a hustle for me. If you're hustling for it, it's not going to last. And it's challenging to help those. But I've had so many women, I'm telling you, through my life that helped me in different aspects of life. And that's why I know that it's important for me to help others. And it's really important for me to really start with the youth. I spend most of my time with the youth. We help each other. We, reach out and network and do all of those things. But most of my time is with youth, because it starts right there.
Love that. So Deana, I'm super excited to hear your response to Crystal's question. Again, paying attention to, you are in a male-dominated space. And so I'm excited to hear about your mentor journey, what kind of supports you've gotten along the way and what that's looked like for you.
Yeah, I too am big on not only being mentored, but also paying it forward and mentoring. I know that those that follow me on social media know that I'm big on sharing everything. I share resources, I share tools, I share brand. Unfortunately, a lot of people in our community, they operate off of scarcity, and I do not. Not subscribe to the scarcity mindset. I finally believe that I can show someone exactly how I'm doing it, and they will never do it like me. You will never attract the same customers, because what's for you is for you, and what's for me is for me. But with that being said, so not only do I mentor often, and not as much as I used to, because I'm a lot busier, and you kind of get bombarded with a lot of people more so wanting you to do the work for them, opposed to taking the information, processing it, and doing it for themselves. But I have some amazing mentors. My first mentor was Donald Snyder, and he is a notorious entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur. And although he wasn't in construction, he forced me to get out of my comfort zone. And he did that by making me pitch. So I participated in a pitch competition with DTE Energy, where I ended up winning first place. But I was so upset about having to pitch. And I'm like, I don't know anything about pitching. I've never done this before. I don't know what to say. I have to stand up in front of these people. Like, I don't want to do it. And he's like, oh, you're going to pitch. So not only did he drag me into pitching, but he also supported us in each one of the contestants, not just me. He got us a pitch coach. But from there, it opened my eyes to other opportunities and allowed me to be able to express myself in a way where people will understand exactly what I do, how I do it, and why they should want to work with me. And then another one of my mentors is in the construction industry, and he's just been phenomenal. There's no question I could ever ask him where he won't answer, and he won't give me, his full attention, and just from experience be able to tell me, how to handle certain situations. And so mentorship is super important. I mean, I feel like it will really prevent you from a lot of stumbling blocks that could be there, pitfalls that you can avoid if you take the information seriously. Because there are a lot of people ask for mentorship. You tell them what to do, they go do the opposite. Like,
exactly. I get that part.
What are you doing here? And then lastly, just like Raeshawn, like, I love the youth. Like, I have 2 young children myself. My son is 15 and my daughter is 17 now. And I just believe that it is so important for them to see someone that looks like them and to be successful in different industries, because until they can see that, until they can see themselves in that person, they probably don't even know that it's possible. Mm-hmm. And definitely passionate about doing that as well. So mentorship is important. Just make sure you find the right mentor. And the mentorship is not, sometimes it might come with a price tag, but honestly, my mentors didn't charge me a thing, and they did it from their hearts, but they knew that I was serious and they felt my heart, which is why they. So
that's how it normally goes.
So we are intentional. Last month was Black History Month. This Women's History. What does it mean to you in 2023 to be a Black woman?
Oh, it's great to me. It means a lot. We are moving this country forward, but we've been moving this country forward. We just always had, I would say, a backseat, or, when I was working, and even though it was a lot of Black executives that I was working for, I was always preparing their table or preparing them to be on the cover of automotive magazine or television. And now I'm preparing for myself. So I love seeing my sisters out here getting what they've been getting, but they're in the front of that line.
I love that. Deana, what does it mean for you? 2023, everything that you've been through, what does it mean to be a Black woman?
Oh gosh, what it means to be a Black woman to me is just stepping into my rightful place. Just like Raeshawn said, like, we've been leaders all along. I'm definitely a supportive type of person as well, but to actually take this journey confidently, creating my own lane, creating opportunities for others to come behind me, just all of those amazing things, and just actually being acknowledged for that.
So how did you find your voice?
Listen, I just had to get out of my comfort zone. I got comfortable being uncomfortable. Like, that's the best way that I can put it. Oftentimes I'm in rooms and I'm not only the only Black person, but the only woman. And so I just got comfortable being uncomfortable and owning my space, my lane, and being respected for it. And so it kind of came with time, you know?
So what about you? How did you find your voice?
You know, how can I put this? Because I feel like I've always had a voice.
Okay. And some women have, right? And some women have. So we come across a lot of women who want to go that next step. And they walk in the room and they're the only person of color. They're the only woman. And again, we've been socialized.
Yes.
Happy to be in the room. We've been socialized to be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So some of us are broke out of that a long time ago, or that was never a challenge for them. We have many women again who are missing opportunity because they don't know how.
Right. Yeah. I've always had a voice, and I knew at a young age when I was in elementary school, I was wearing suits. I knew I was going to be a businesswoman, but I didn't know what that was going to be. But when my son graduated from college, that's when I'm like, okay, it's time for me to do for me. And when I talked to my son about it, he was like, Mom, you already be handling business. Go for it. And when I tell you, I sat at my desk in a cubicle that I hated being in this cubicle. I sat in that cubicle for 3 weeks because I had hardly no work to do. And I planted Pink Poodle and I didn't stop. My voice just got louder.
Yeah, because Pink Poodle's everywhere.
There you go. Our inside show. Yeah, I just feel like I got louder because it's a purpose and it's for our youth. You have no idea how I can sit here and probably call my son 2 or 3 times a month crying in tears, but it be sadness. And it's even with the mix with sadness, it'd be kind of a joy thing. When I have young ladies come in here, it's really hits hard during prom season. These young girls go through so much, you have no idea. And I can feel it on them when they're here. So when they're here and I'm treating them with care and respect and giving them service that they won't find anywhere else, they tend to have a sense of pride of being here. And the hugs that they give me is totally different. Like I just experienced one young lady that found out she was abused. Another young lady that was here, she was fussing at her grandmother, here outside the door. And I had to call her back in here and say, hey, you don't talk to your grandmother like that. I paused for a minute because I didn't know what that could turn into, but I didn't care what it turned into. And that's the issues that we're having in the community. We let things slide, but that girl thanked me for that. And she asked me for a hug, and the hug that I received from her is probably a hug she haven't had in a while. So I'm louder and I'm arrogant about it because I'm passionate about the youth. It's not just about the dresses, selling the dresses here. It's a lot that comes with it.
I have to say, I met Sean 5 years ago. And we were actually on doing another show together. And prom season was coming up for the princess. And I told her, I said, you can go look anywhere that you want to for dresses to figure out what kind of dress you want. I said, but we're getting a dress from Sean. And I was adamant about that. But the way she handled my daughter, there's no way she would have gotten that at any of those other dress shops, right? It just wasn't going to happen. And the day that I saw her light up, when she put the dress on, remember we had to do the modesty panels.
Yeah.
And so she lit up and I said, yeah, but I know the care and concern that Sean gave my child, she would not have gotten that at any of those other shops that she had gone to look for dresses in. And so I just want to thank you for that. And I appreciate what you do with the women, with the young girls out here in the community. Both of you mentioned, and yesterday I was around some women entrepreneurs as well and had an opportunity to do some interviewing of them. And both of you and the 3 of them all mentioned walking in your purpose. right? And what you're doing, and the hurdles that you had to overcome, the things that have happened to get you walking in your purpose. How important is faith in walking in this purpose? And how important has being obedient?
Mm.
Deana, let's start with you on that one.
Okay, all right. Well, my faith is at the center of everything that I do, every opportunity that I take, every job that I go on. I always pray before I take on things that, it's just at the center of my being, right? But not only that, like I'm telling you, it's prevented me from falling so many times. We get into crazy situations and you're like, Lord, you don't have to only you can help me out of this one. But just being grounded in that and knowing that, all things happen for a reason, and that, I know that I'm moving in my purpose. It's absolutely no question. Just the people I encounter, being able to serve the underserved city of Detroit. I was born and raised in Detroit on the east side in the red zone. So that's one of the roughest areas in the city. And to be able to give back to my people and offer them, services that no one else is willing to do. Everybody's afraid. Contractors just won't do work for them. They think they're going to get ripped off, or they think they're not going to pay, or for whatever reason. But, I found purpose in doing just that. But I know that God called me to that. So in a nutshell, it's all about God. It's all about my faith. Everything is that's in the center of everything that I do.
Sean.
Yeah, she's right. Faith is very important. As I mentioned earlier, my first year, everything that I put forth, I had planned. I had a solid plan, and everything went left. That things that were out of my control. And at the same time, I started off with my business thinking that helping other small businesses in this industry, like this could be our hub. I'm trying to be the helper, but that was like my main downfall, because people, they took advantage of that, or they didn't have the same passion that I had. And I wasted a lot of time with that. And everything else that happened, I lost my faith. And when I lost my faith, it was a tough time for me personally. And I had decided, after praying, I kind of like had no choice really but to close my place. And I'm like, what do I do after this? Like, are they going to take me serious? I close. And I had a friend that was like, girl, get your stuff together. You're going to do this. So that next day, I just started doing the same thing I always do, start writing things down. And that turned into, we going to move, we going to shut this place down, and we going to rebrand a grand opening. I was rebranding a grand opening. I didn't even have a building lease signed yet. So,
talk about faith.
Exactly. I ran on faith 100% on this. And I had Bedrock, I had all other places that were trying to get me to go to Midtown and downtown. And like, no, I did go check those spaces out, because the first place I just rushed into it. So I did my due diligence this time. And I had this place always in the back burner, but I just kept looking. And God was telling me, like, okay, you did what you're supposed to do. Now let's go on and move over here. And when I opened up here at Jefferson and Chalmers, 3 months later, COVID hits. I knew my faith was 1000%, because COVID did not faze me. I'm like, all right, we'll use this time to brand Sean as Detroit bridal stylist. And I just carried on. And less than a week or 2 weeks after we had to close, I started getting grants, from the city, the different organizations that kept me moving. And that whole scenario just put me in a better place. It helped me with inventory, so I can have the proper inventory to sell. And people out there just really wanted to support Pink Poodle. So that kind of took my business on another level. And it was driven when I gained my faith back. So you can't lose that faith. But it was a tough time for me during that time.
All right, so we got to have the conversation.
Uh-oh.
And Chris and I have talked about this many, many times. Black-owned businesses. I want the hookup. Right? Elevating to, right? Like, and we feel like sometimes we do that, right? Trying to grow our business or trying to get people to keep coming back in the door or to establish our name, like for the many reasons, right? Where these same folks will walk into white-led stores and pay full price, not even pretend like they're going to ask for negotiation, a hookup, or any of that, but come into our stores where we have committed to giving back to our own communities and ask for the hookup. And then one day you wake up, and this is Chris and I's tag, the price is the price, right? Like, I'm okay with that no, because the price is
The price.
How did you get there, right? Like the frustration of I need the hookup. Can you give me the discount? Black people, stop doing that to our own. Like, pay the price. We are committed to servicing our own first. I don't know of a Black person who has started a business whose primary focus, they may have grown into that, was to service somebody other than somebody that looked like them.
All right.
Right? Many of us think about it because we see the gaps in our own communities. We see the structure, we see the structures that have been built up against us to be able to get the resources. So we're like, I'm gonna start one if it makes it nothing but easier for me, right? And then here comes Joe. Here comes Diane. We want to tell us about it. Black people don't be that. I'm just saying, don't be that. Pay the price.
Yep. The price is the price. It's the same as when I get quotes from people. If it's not in my budget or I can't afford it, I'm just going to fall back.
Was that always the case though, Sean? Did you always, the price is the price, or did you?
No.
Okay.
Yep, I'm getting ready to go to that, but that's the way that I will hope that people will do. But when I first started, even when I was struggling, and they knew that I was struggling when I was down the street.
Right.
I've had, and I mean literally, I've had a bride that came to me. Now she done been to several shops already. She said I was the 6th one on her list. So I'm the 6th one on your list. That's kind of odd. And I'm a Black shop. Okay, but okay. So her conversation started off. No, you came to me because you couldn't find anything. That's how I took it. But her conversation started off, and this is where I should have picked up on it. Yeah, she ran I'm a small business, I just started my business type of deal on me. And I got a little sensitive about it. And I gave her a discount. But when she came back for fittings, she came back with some red bottoms. After that, the price is the price. She came back, and that's what they do. And they will, and I just recently, so one thing that I offered that a lot of shops, I shouldn't say a lot of shops, but small shops don't offer really now is payment plans, because it's a struggle for us to keep up this inventory, and you want us to pay for your dress in advance, and you're out shopping with no money yet. And so a lot of small shops, they can't cover that expense. So they're like, you have to pay for your dress in full. But these other shops that's non-Black, they have money to back them up and support. A lot of them, the daddies just gave them money to open a shop to give them something to do. And so I started the payment plan because I would lose sales, right? So when I started this payment plan, I have a lot of sisters that, they pay it on time And then I have some that will call and say, well, can I? And they tell me their story. Well, I have that same story too. And I have two households. I have this one and I have that one. Like
Right.
I've already given you the cut. So, and I slap that, it's going to be a $75 fee, and they hurry up and they find the money.
Mhm.
But you have to stand your ground or you will be closed and shut down.
Right. Right. So Deana, what was it like? How did you get to the price is the price?
I started there.
Amen, sis.
No, I really was serious about starting there because I knew I was providing a service that no one else wanted to provide. Not only was I providing a service that no one else wanted to provide, I was providing it in excellence. I showed up when I told you I went up. My customer service is bomb.com. And so, I mean, I just knew my value proposition. And I'm like, at the end of the day, this is business. I don't care who you are. The price is the price. I get people trying to tell me about, their unlicensed cousin does work for $8. But that's why you calling me now to fix it. You know what I mean?
Right.
That work for you, and I'm just not negotiating on my price. Again, I understand my value proposition. I know that we're offering something that not too many people will offer. I stand by my work, my team. Again, I show up when I say I'm showing up, not 10 hours later. If there's a reason why we can't, I just make sure that myself and my team are communicating. I don't know. No, the price.
The price is the price.
The price is the price. We're not going to go back and forth about it.
Yeah.
We're not going to negotiate. If you feel like what I'm charging is too much, find somebody else to do it.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And if you could do that, you probably would have.
I love
Right.
it.
So you already know that I'm giving you the best price. Plus, but because I'm a Black-owned business, you want me to discount it more? I think not.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
I love that. I absolutely love that. So again, fastest hour of the day. We have 4 takeaways, those that are joining us that I need us to pay attention to. 1, be intentional. 2, the power of reframing the no.
Mhm.
3, stand on your faith. It's non-negotiable. And Deana just landed us with know your worth.
Absolutely.
Because the price is the price. The price is the price. Absolutely love that. So Deana, how can people find you?
Well, you can find me on social media, DeanaNeely.com, and that's DeanaNeely, or DetroitVoltage.com. You can find my contact information there as well.
Awesome. Sean, how can folks find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at pinkpoodledresslounge.com. My personal email is pinkpoodledresslounge.com, or you could email me at Sean@pinkpoodledresslounge.com.
So moms out there, aunties out there, prom season is fast approaching. Do yourself a great service and check out my goddaughter was beautiful for prom. I'm here to tell it. She was absolutely beautiful. We need to give back. We need to be ensuring that we are creating stability in our own communities. And we've got 2 amazing women with us tonight who are servicing and are paying attention. And we would be doing them a disservice, and I mean our generations to come a disservice, if we don't find these women and look at ways in which we can engage or pass that information on, because we always know someone. Prom happens every year. Construction is happening all the time. Things are happening in our homes where we could benefit from giving back, as these women have created space, have created their own tables, and what better way to honor them as they make their own history in these spaces. Absolutely. A woman doing bridal in a predominantly white-driven organization, spaces, and a powerful Black woman breaking down all gender barrier conversations and showing up in this space with Detroit Voltage. I promise you, you will not be disappointed if you reach out to either one of them. It is a must fastest hour of your day, the thing that we have to always talk about because it is important as we are carrying so many things. How are you practicing self-care, Deana?
Oh, I love self-care. I'm big. Listen, I'm big on taking care of me. Few things. I love to travel. So traveling is one of those things where I look at it as self-care for me. I also have massages weekly or bi-weekly. It's a non-negotiable for me to not do that. And I get facials monthly.
Love it.
Amen. I need some of you. So, and we're pretty much the same. I love to travel, but the last 5 years, my traveling has decreased. Massages is key for me. It's everything. And I must be, last year I was getting them on the regular and I fell off. But recently I'm now closed on Wednesdays. So Wednesdays is kind of like in that middle week for me to relax. And 2 days out of the month now, I have on my calendar, spa day, movie day, relax. It's all about me, nobody else. I have this cell phone, brides text me on this every day, all day. I throw all of that in the bag, none of it. So I'm getting there.
Wednesday is actually my self-care day, by the way.
Is it?
You have to
Mine too.
schedule it. You have to schedule it because time, life, and situations will eat that up and you will find yourself prioritizing everything but. So there's nothing wrong with scheduling it. I absolutely recommend it. As much as you are giving everywhere else, we all know the adage, you can't pour from an empty cup. And they have asked Black women to do it for far too long. So be intentional about taking care of you so that when you decide you want to pour, and that's the other thing, you're making the decision in the spaces in which you are going to empty your cup. You have something in which to do it from. This has been an amazing conversation. Thank you both for sharing your stories, the joy, the tears, the laughter. Deana, I absolutely love your energy around, right? Like I am clear. I'm clear. I know my worth. Sean, I'm grateful for the ways in which you lifted up your full commitment to staying in the community and servicing our young women in ways that on a day that is so, so important to them, prom and wedding, that they are taken care of at a level that could not get in any other spaces. I'm grateful to have spent this time with both of you. You truly are amazing women. Crystal.
So a little sponsorship message. Amazing Women Speak is definitely sponsored by the Amazing Woman Network. Was created to empower and unite Black women globally, focusing on our core pillars of reclaiming personal power, mind, body, and spirit, reclaiming financial power, and increasing social involvement. And I think you two ladies are hitting on every one of those pillars and doing it nicely. Black history, women's history. You are both every single day, and you wear it well. I am honored to know both of you, and I celebrate you in these 2 months of celebration. I definitely celebrate you, and it looks good to see you walking in your purpose. I have found that when you walk in your purpose and you are obedient and faith leads the way, the only way you don't succeed is if you don't do the work. And so I appreciate both of you all for doing that. Michele, without fail, you show up and you bring something to these conversations that someone once asked the question and I said, have you seen her? Like, have you seen her in operation? She is dynamic in what she does. So I thank you not only for being my BFF, but for being as dope and dynamic as you are in helping women own their agency. I absolutely love you to pieces for that. Another great episode. I can't wait to continue this conversation next week at 7 p.m., where we have two amazing entrepreneurs who are actually business partners. So this should be a very interesting conversation. But thank you all again so much. I appreciate you. I am Crystal Gunn. I am a Black woman, and I own my amazing.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Crystal. Always, I will not end a conversation without thanking you for your obedience, for having an impact on the lives of women who have yet to meet you. You created a platform, did not have all of the answers, and on your faith, you stood and remain obedient to the call that God has put in your life to create a space for women to be celebrated. We are forever breaking each other down. We are intentional. So thank you for being obedient to that call. Lives are getting better. Smiles are being found, rediscovered. Strength is being gained. Hope is being found, and faith is being restored. You are a true gift and a blessing, more than you could ever know, my friend. I get better every single week because I get to share this space with you and to hear the voices, to see the responses in the chat. Lives are improved, and I'm grateful to be a part of this conversation. My name is Michele Harper. The gift and the blessing of being in community with Black women always makes me better at the end. I am grateful to the two of you for helping me be a little bit better. My name is Michele Harper. I am a Black woman, and without apology, I own my amazing. Deana.
My name is Deana Neely, and I am definitely a Black woman, and I own.
Thank you, Deana. One more time, how can folks find you?
You can find me on social media at Detroit Voltage or Deana Neely. And you can also find me at DetroitVoltage.com, and you'll be able to get me there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies, thank you so much for this platform. It's an honor for me to be on here with you and sharing my story. My name is Raeshawn Bumpers. I am an amazing Black woman, and I am amazing.
Yes.
Thank you so very much, ladies. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you.
Have a great week ahead.
Thank you. You all too. Bye-bye.